Hello everyone and welcome back to 48 Now. It is digital host AJ Wiest, and today I am joined with Lesley Ann Hyde. She is the founder of the Southern Ghost Girls and Paranormal Investigations. And this Friday, you are actually hosting a May Mayhem ghost hunt at the historic Lowry House here in Huntsville. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we're really excited. We're always excited to get to investigate and have tours at the historic and haunted Lowry House.
Yes.
So it's really a gem here in Huntsville that a lot of people don't know about, but it has a notable Civil War history and more history. So there are a lot of things that happen there that are unexplainable. So we're doing a ghost hunt and paranormal investigation Friday night, 7 p.m. and everybody's invited. We've got our tickets on sale right now, so we'd love people to come out.
Very cool. And so you've been doing ghost hunts for like 20 years now, over 20 years. You're certainly very experienced. Can you talk a little bit about your background and kind of what led you to want to hunt ghosts?
So really, I have always had things happen to me, unexplained things. Ever since it kind of started when I was around 6 years old. So it sparked my interest. And when I was small, when I was little, and even up into my 20s, you didn't talk about these things.
Right.
Because it was really taboo back then. But things continued to happen. I would hear things, see things, get messages, you name it. So I got involved in paranormal, did every kind of tour and investigation when I would travel out of town, that kind of thing. So when I got older, I started my own team of paranormal investigators, and then started the tour group, Southern Ghost Girls Tours. So we go to different historic venues, and we do investigations, and we host those with the public, but they're all for fundraising.
Oh, cool.
So we give back for historic preservation. So we get to do something fun, but also giving back.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's very cool. And it goes towards historic preservation.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, in Alabama, really everywhere, the first thing that gets cut when you have budget cuts and things are historic venues and museums and things like that.
Yeah.
So about 5 years ago, I started the company. And I just started contacting people. Hey, I can host these tours, because in other cities and out of state, you'll go visit and they have ghost hunts, ghost tours, all kind of things like that. But Alabama really didn't have a lot of that.
Really?
So I started just contacting people, and I said, hey, we can raise money for you. And people were so receptive to it, because like I said, if something is owned by a city or a municipality or whatever it is, museums, historic venues are the first things that are going to be closed. So during COVID, we actually continued our tours, which kept a lot of places open.
Yeah.
And we, in the historic Lowry House, is one that we try to do the tours as often as possible, at least once a month, once every other month. They're always different, but we do those, and we help preservation, help preserve it. I know the Lowry House has done a lot of improvements. Like they just recently painted the whole house on the outside, which it badly needed.
Right.
So, I feel like our contribution helped them with that. Because it's important to preserve our history and get to do something fun while we're preserving it, right? A ghost hunt.
Absolutely. And I hear, as you mentioned earlier, the Lowry House is haunted. Can you go further into that? Like, how is it haunted? What's happened?
Well, a lot of people have experiences there. I will say every ghost hunt or tour that we do is different. We experience things that people just can't believe. For instance, there's a rich history to it, but there's a hidden room upstairs. The Lowry House was actually part of the Underground Railroad, and a lot of people came through the Lowry House. And that energy still is there. We were upstairs doing the investigation, and I mean, we're talking 10 people saw this with their own eyes. We were using some of our equipment, and we had coat hangers fly off the rack. I mean, there was no explanation for it. Of course, everybody ran out, but it was, and you can't believe your eyes. Now, people have had experiences. There's a notable ghost. Her name is Ann Lowry. She actually lived in the Lowry House, and she was actually killed there on the front porch of the Lowry House by Union soldiers. When they came in and took over Huntsville, she was running outside and she was actually gunned down on the porch. So many people have experienced the ghost of Ann Lowry. That's been going on for a while. I know I saw her. What I feel was Miss Ann, and several other people on the tour. We were doing the ghost hunt, and I looked towards the kitchen, which the kitchen has a lot of activity in. And we looked, and I couldn't believe it, because you don't really see this a lot. It was outline of a woman, and she walked in the kitchen. Now, I thought, okay, I'm seeing things, because, you never know what you're going to see. But then another woman, she's like, stop. There is somebody beside you. She was seeing the same, like, shadowy outline of a woman walking forward, and several other people in the room did too. And we've heard disembodied voices. Just the other day, we were on a tour, and we're all sitting in the living room part, and just outside the wall, and there was nobody else there, there was a disembodied voice of a woman crying.
No.
Yes, yes. And I mean, normally we are recording these things, but on that one, with this perfect disembodied voice of a woman crying, nobody was recording it at the time.
Of course.
And of course,
Yep.
So there's a lot of different spirits that hang out at the Lowry House. There's a grumpy butler. He likes to hang out in the kitchen. They used to have plays there, and there was an actress. She was getting ready to go out, and she was sitting there waiting for her cue to go out. She looked into the pantry, and a man, this grumpy butler is what we call him, was staring straight at her. She screamed, ran out. I don't think she came back. So there's a lot of things. Nothing bad or sinister. We've never ran into that. But there's a lot that goes on there. Oh, one stole my earring. That was one that just happened maybe 3 months ago. There's the ghosts that like to steal your earrings and play tricks. We think it's children. And my earring had been taken, like, off my ear. Well, I searched for the earring all night. I mean, like, it was crazy. I had just bought this brand new pair of earrings. And at the end of the tour, I went to the restroom. I come out. I look on my ear, and there is the earring. It's, like, suspended here, and then it hit the floor. That was crazy. And people heard it and saw it. So I got out of there. But I think they're just really trying to play tricks. So
They just like to have a good time.
yes. Yeah. So I think it's fun. We're visiting. We're keeping the energy high. So if people come out to our tours, our ghost hunts, I promise them they will have a good time.
That is awesome. Yeah. I've never had a paranormal encounter. But I went to college up in Nashville, another very haunted city. And on our campus at Belmont University, there's the Belmont Mansion.
Yeah.
And supposedly Adelicia Ackland haunted that place. Many students shared their stories with Adelicia, but
that they've had experiences.
That they've had with Adelicia, so you never know.
You never know. So it's good, and it's a safe environment to do something if you've never been on a ghost hunt or wanted to. I know the TV shows are very popular, the ghost shows, and if you ever wanted to do that, this is really a safe space for you to try something out like this.
Absolutely. So I see you brought some tools. Can you show those and talk about those a little bit?
Well, I just brought a couple of things here, but these are things that on our ghost hunts you will actually get to use equipment. These are just very simple pieces of equipment. We have a lot of equipment, the same things you see on television. on the ghost shows that people like to watch. This is just going to be an electromagnetic detector. It detects electromagnetic frequency. I also brought, this is called a REM pod. And we use the scientific equipment to help us get evidence. So how this works is it actually emits an electromagnetic field. And a lot of people feel that ghosts and spirits are energy. So if something comes into the space of this REM pod as it's laying, on the ground, or if we have it sitting somewhere, it's going to go off. It also detects like temperature changes. A lot of people, when they have ghostly experiences, will feel cold chills. Things will get very cold. So if there's something that comes into contact with this, or if the temperature drops, it's going to go off. So this is just some very simple, basic equipment that we use, but you'll get to use a lot of different cameras, SLS equipment, cameras, recorders, just all kind of cool things that, like I said, you see on television shows. So
that's giving me chills, I think, honestly.
so people, if you want a hands-on experience, people will get to experience that.
Yeah.
So, and that's different than a lot of the ghost tours that other places do.
Yeah.
I had been on ghost tours for years, and you didn't get to use equipment and be part of an investigation.
You're actively part of that investigation there.
Yes.
That's super cool. So you touched on different cities that you've been to, that you've taken a ghost tour or that you've given a ghost tour. What are some of the cities that you would say are some of the most haunted that you've personally been to?
Well, personally, I would probably say St. Augustine, Florida.
Okay.
It's very, very haunted. There's the famous lighthouse there, and the ghost of the lighthouse. Savannah, Georgia is another one that's, that's haunted. We've done a lot of tours, investigations there. But you'd be surprised how in Alabama, the haunted cities, and one of the most haunted, I feel like, is either going to be Huntsville. It's got a really rich history. And there's cemetery tours too that you can take and things like that. But there's a rich history of ghostly encounters in Huntsville. Also Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa. Yeah, Tuscaloosa. We do a place there called the Lowry House. We do ghost tours there. It's extremely haunted, and it was made famous in a book called 13 Alabama Ghosts in Jeffrey. Now, you may not have heard from that. You're not from Alabama originally.
No, I'm originally from Georgia.
But so many people, like little kids, grew up in the library going to get that book, 13 Alabama Ghosts in Jeffrey.
Okay.
And the Lowry House that's in Tuscaloosa, we do the ghost hunts there to help raise money. So, and that was featured in that book. So there's a lot of stuff here. I will say Alabama has been a little more, quiet about their ghost stories than other states. Louisiana, they're proud of their ghost stories. There's Mississippi even. You go there and it's just a different, people tell the folklore, they tell the ghost stories, they kind of grow up with ghost stories, but it hasn't been quite as much in Alabama. So we're bringing that to people.
You're bringing it here.
Yes, making them aware.
Yeah, absolutely. So this tour, it's from 7 to 10:30.
Yes.
Can you kind of talk about, give me the rundown when someone shows up to the house to when they leave? Really, what goes into all of that?
Well, we have everybody start checking in probably around 6:30, and we encourage everyone to take a self-guided tour of the historic Lowry House because it is a working museum. There are so many interesting things, newspaper clippings, articles, all throughout the house. So we encourage everybody to do that. So, and then everybody gathers back up. We introduce, we talk about our equipment, we talk about what they're going to expect. We kind of set, some ground rules. But the most important thing is we tell everybody keep an open mind and have fun. Just have fun.
Yeah.
So and then we break into smaller groups and we We rotate throughout the house at the different haunted locations throughout the house, and everybody gets to participate. And we encourage people to participate because the higher energy, the more people you have, you're going to get more evidence. So, and we have a lot of skeptics that come too.
I can see that.
You know,
yeah.
we're all skeptics to a point, right? So, but we do have some people that are just like, I don't believe in this stuff. This is not happening. And they actually leave and they have been made believers. I mean, some people actually say they have had a life-changing experience. I mean, we've had grown men crying, leaving. I mean, we've had everything. They're like, this has made me believe. So,
wow.
But yeah, and we just do that until everybody finishes. We give them time to go around by themselves if they want to. Most of the people don't want to do that at the end. They're like, okay, I'm ready
out. I'm
ready
done.
to go.
I've had my ghost for the day.
But it's a very immersive experience.
Yeah.
And it's one of a kind, really. I mean, it's really one of a kind thing that you can do here on the weekends. That's when we mostly do our tours. But we've got it this Friday night on May 17th. And then we also have one coming up at the Lowry House, if you can't make this one, on June 28th.
All right. Very cool. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. If I want to thank you so much for coming in, and if maybe I didn't ask something that you might want to add.
Well, a lot of people ask why we use the costumes and the dress.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of paranormal investigators, they just wear jeans and a t-shirt. But we actually dress in historical period clothing.
Okay.
Everyone on the team that leads the tours, we dress in the time period that the house or the venue is that we're researching and doing the investigation at. And we feel like it really gives us an advantage to get great evidence. Now, the people that come to the tours, you don't have to dress up. I mean, you know, they just come. But we try to immerse ourselves, and we get some really good evidence doing that.
Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I will definitely have to head out there. I don't know about this, but June 20th, this Friday.
June 28th will
June
be our
28th?
next one there.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I might have to check it out. And,
Yeah. Well, we'll have our
some
tickets.
ghosts.
Will be on sale, and you just go to southernghostgirls.com.
All right.
Or our Facebook page, Southern Ghost Girls Tours. You can get all the tickets through there, and they're sold through Eventbrite. So.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, if you're watching at home, come on out this Friday at 7 to Huntsville's historic Lowry House and go on a ghost hunt. So
We guarantee
absolutely.
you will have a good time. We promise.
Yes, a good time.